All right, so what should you consider as a business owner or a media buyer when offering or deciding to run Facebook lead generation for your business or for a business if you're a media buyer? There's a lot of things that you need to consider before running Facebook lead forms, and I've worked with so many companies, both small and large, that do not think about these questions before they start running lead generation, and therefore they are doomed to fail. So hopefully in this video, I can give you some of my experience of generating over 200,000 leads on the Facebook platform for multiple clients over the past 6 years or so. These are some things that I think you should consider as a business owner or as a media buyer before you even start designing a lead generation campaign on Facebook. So the first thing, which I find most businesses are just not prepared for, is the amount of time required to run Facebook lead generation, specifically for people who are new to Facebook lead generation. That is to say, companies who are new to Facebook lead generation. And this is not just tied to small companies. I've worked with large companies where we start running lead generation for them in the past, and they just don't have any system in place to deal with those leads. They have no idea what to expect with the leads, and things just fall apart very quickly. So learn from my mistakes in the early days and don't start running lead generation for your company or for someone else's company if they're not prepared for the amount of work involved. So let me give you a quick overview of what I'm talking about. On average, you will convert 1 in every 20 leads that you generate. So you need to really consider this as a business owner or a media buyer. Can the business actually manage calling 20 leads to get 1 sale? And that is not actually the case really, because generally you're going to have to call each lead about 5 times to actually get through to them. If you think you're going to just call leads and they're going to answer, not the case, not going to happen. Generally 5 calls per lead. So if you've generated 20 leads in this example, that's 100 calls before you even convert 1 customer. And that's on average. You may do better than that, you may do worse than that. It depends on your industry, the price of the product, all of that stuff. But just bear in mind, you want to run Facebook lead generation, the average conversion rate is 1 in 20. So to put that into a time context, that's 100 calls to get 1 sale. Each call, if you say on average, is going to be between 3 and 5 minutes. You're talking about 3 to 6 to 8 hours of calls to get 1 sale. So if you're a business owner, you're already running your business and you want to run lead generation and you're not aware of this, then you might be surprised to find that you need to be calling very often to get through to the leads. A lot of the leads are going to be bad quality. They're never going to answer the phone. Then you need to consider the actual management of those leads. So for example, in this case, you've got 20 leads. You're going to have to call each one on average 5 times, which is 100 calls. And then what if one of them answers and says, oh yeah, I'm really interested, but I'm busy now, can you call me back on Tuesday? Then another one says, oh, can you call me back on Wednesday at 3 o'clock? Now you need some sort of management system for these leads to start making notes. This one wants to be called back then. I've called this one 3 times. I've called this one 2 times. This one wants to call him back on this day. And it might sound super obvious to you listening to this that you need a lead management system, but you would be amazed how many businesses I speak to who've not even considered this. Most businesses and new media buyers think that Facebook lead generation is just as easy as running Facebook lead ads, calling the lead, and every lead's going to be like, oh my God, I'm so happy you called. Yes, I want to buy your product right away, with no sales, no management, no warming up in the funnel. Just, I'm going to buy straight away. It's just not going to happen. You're going to speak to a lot of leads that have various problems, various levels of difficulty. They're at various stages in the funnel, and you need to have a management system in place. You need to have the time to deal with that management, and you need to understand how much that's going to cost, if that's actually viable for your business or for the business that you're working for. So in that original example, 20 leads for 1 sale, that's on average. Let's say you do 100 calls. Through your 20 leads, you get 1 sale and it's profitable. Amazing, fantastic. But now you want to scale. You're now making money. So, okay, let's double it. Let's double the budget, double the number of leads. But now you've also doubled the number of calls. It's 200 calls now. You've doubled the number of hours. It's now, 12 to 20 hours. It depends how efficient your management system is. And now if you're a business owner particularly, I've seen this happen so many times when we come to a business and they've been running leads themselves and they say, oh, they don't work, they're all shit leads, they don't answer the phone, blah, blah, blah. It's most of the time, 90% of the time, it's not that the leads don't work, it's that they don't have the time or the management system in place to deal with those leads. So if they've got a little bit of success early on and then they've increased the budget, they're now working a job as a sales consultant, calling the leads. They're working a job as a media buyer, running ads and trying to generate leads. They're running a job as a lead management operative, managing the leads, booking them all in for different calls at different times, making notes on the whatever CRM system they're using. And you can see if you then start scaling further, it just absolutely does not work. So if you're a business owner or a media buyer and you're thinking about running Facebook lead generation, that's the first thing that you need to consider. Who has the time to call these leads? Who's going to be calling the leads? Who's going to be managing the leads? Who's going to be booking in the calls? Who's going to be following up with the leads? All of these questions need to be considered early on. That doesn't even take into account the Facebook ads side of things. So again, worst case scenario, you're a business owner and you're thinking about running your own lead generation on Facebook. It's such a bad idea, but I meet so many business owners who've tried it, failed, and then they end up at our agency with a very negative view of Facebook lead generation because they tried it and it didn't work. So you've got the management, you've got the call time, that all adds up over a week. That's basically 2 new jobs. Then you've got the actual Facebook ads themselves. So again, if you think as a business owner that you're going to be able to just run Facebook ads, generate leads for a decent cost, and then you can manage all the other stuff as well. If you think that the Facebook ads are just going to work on their own, they're not. You're going to need to be running new creative tests weekly, if not bi-daily. You're going to need to be running new campaigns. You're going to be dealing with when you run a campaign and then suddenly it just stops working. The lead cost goes through the roof. Now it's not feasible at all, but you've still got loads of calls to make and bookings in and all of it. It just does not work. So this is stuff that I've not seen anyone talking about with Facebook lead form. Facebook lead forms or lead generation on Facebook is not suitable for every business. If you're a business owner and you're considering Facebook lead forms, you need to consider these questions. Who's running the leads? Who's calling the leads? Who's managing the leads? And who ultimately is responsible for the lead costs and all of that stuff. So if you're a business owner, for sure, you need to be considering these questions. If an agency's come to you and they're offering lead generation and you're thinking, oh, sounds good. Like, oh, they're going to guarantee me this many leads or they're going to guarantee this many leads. If you don't have the time to manage those leads or the system to manage those leads, it's a terrible idea. You're absolutely going to lose money. The next thing, and you thought that I was finished there. The next thing with Facebook lead generation is the expectations. So this is more so for media buyers, but it does apply to business owners as well because you'll have your own expectations. So I found so many businesses who come from running their own companies with Google Ads or just with organic lead generation, small service businesses, local area stuff. And they just get recommendations and people come to them and they find the Facebook page and they fill in a lead form and they don't understand the difference between an organic lead and a Facebook paid lead. They're 2 completely different things. So this is something that you really need to consider as a business owner or a media buyer for lead generation is the expectation. You need to set expectations with either yourself if you're the business owner or with your client if you're a media buyer. Because when you go from organic leads to Facebook leads and you haven't been preempted, that there's a lot more work involved with Facebook leads than there is with organic leads, you're going to be in for a shock. And I've found so many business owners who've they can't believe that they have 20 leads and 12 of them didn't answer the phone. They cannot believe it. And another 3 of them were just terrible leads. They're not qualified on this or this. And it's because they're used to organic leads, which is very warm audience who might be familiar with the company. They've been recommended. They've been checking out the Facebook and Instagram posts. They're already very hot leads and they've then completed your lead form without being prompted by an ad. Whereas a Facebook lead is someone who didn't know anything about your business 9 times out of 10. They've never heard of you. They're just thinking about your service, a similar service to yours. Then they see a Facebook ad, and that is the beginning, the very top of the funnel of a sales journey. So the difference between organic leads and Facebook generated leads is that the Facebook generated leads need much, much, much more nurturing and sales to actually convert into customers. So if you're a business owner and you're expecting, oh, well, I get about 10 leads a week from organic sources and we convert about 5 of those. If you think that's going to translate to Facebook leads, it's absolutely not. You need a sales process in place. You need to, from the initial call with them, understand what stage of the funnel they're at. You then need to have a series of steps to get them into a conversion position where they're actually going to buy your product or service. If you treat them the same way as you treat organic leads, you're just not going to make any conversions. That's another huge problem that I find with businesses that run lead generation without preempting by either themselves or by checking around or by their media buyer or agency, that there's a much more salesy process that's needed to convert Facebook leads as opposed to organic leads. Off the back of that, it's another thing with Facebook leads that nobody's going to tell you about, or I haven't seen anywhere else. If you don't know how to sell, or you don't have a specific sales team that's used to cold leads, which is basically what Facebook leads are, they're like slightly warm because they filled in the lead form, but they're basically cold leads. And if you don't have a team that's ready to sell, so again, I've found this with companies who just have teams that deal with inbound leads. So that's organic leads coming from all over the place. They're much, much higher conversion rates. If the team aren't prepared to manage Facebook lead forms, which are leads that are much colder, that need a lot more sales, if they don't have that sales training, again, you will get shit results with Facebook leads. So if you're a business owner, know that, think about that before you start running Facebook lead generation. If you're a media buyer, you should be telling your client all of this straight ahead, up front. Because if you lie to them, if you tell them like, oh, sell them a dream, like, oh, we'll generate 20 leads, we'll probably convert like 15 of them, you're just screwing yourself over. You're screwing the business over, you're screwing yourself over. Everyone's going to be unhappy. You're going to lose the client after 1 month because their expectations are going to be up here and what you're going to deliver is down here, if not lower. So setting the expectations either for yourself if you're the business owner or the media buyer is absolutely crucial with Facebook lead forms. That all being said, as I said at the start of this video, I've generated over 200,000 leads on the Facebook ads platform over the last 6 or so years for multiple clients. We've generally got clients that last a minimum of 3 years with us because we can consistently generate profitable leads on Facebook for them. So if you are a business owner, it does work. Facebook lead generation is an incredible way to grow your business. You can scale a lot more than you can with Google ads, which is just using search intent. With Facebook ads, you're just showing ads to people who are thinking about it before they've actually searched, hence they need more sales process. But it's a great way to scale your business. My main pieces of advice for being successful with Facebook lead generation, Facebook lead forms, is number one, understand the reality of Facebook lead generation. You're going to convert on average 1 in 20 leads. You're on average going to pay $20 per lead. You need a management system in place to really manage those leads and really squeeze the most out of them. So this means a proper CRM system where as soon as the lead comes in, they're going to get a text message from you saying, thanks for completing the lead form. The team will call you as soon as possible. Then as soon as humanly possible, you need someone to be on the phone to them, qualifying them on the various qualification marks that you have for your business. So, if it's a kitchen and bathrooms, you've got a minimum budget, something like that. So you need to have someone on the phone, qualifying them and taking them through the beginning of the sales process. You need to have a sales process in place so you know what you're doing with these leads. When they come in, they're cold, they know nothing about you. So you need to do a little bit about this is what we do, understand what they actually want, if it's suitable, and then get some sort of proposal out to them or some pricing or whatever the process will be for your business. You also need to ensure that it's going to be cost viable for your business. So you can work this out relatively well. You can just Google what's the average CPM for my industry, or what's the average lead cost for my industry on Facebook ads. You'll find out. In finances, it's going to be upwards of $50. In local area service businesses, just like, tiling or kitchens and bathrooms, it's going to be closer to $20. If it's something like an install service where you're just installing a quite low value product like a CCTV camera or something, they're going to be very cheap. They're going to be less than $10 per lead. But then you need to work out, so if conversion rates are 1 in 20 and I'm going to pay, $10 per lead, do the calculations and work out, is this viable for your business? Because your final customer acquisition cost on Facebook, I've seen it anywhere between $50 and $2,500 for extremely expensive products. You're talking upwards of 30,000 business to business kind of lead generation. So there you go, that's it. It's stuff that I've not seen anyone else talking about. So there's the harsh reality of Facebook lead generation. It does work. I'm not trying to put you off it. I'm just saying be aware of these things before you start Facebook lead generation.